opening, and we were not approved to open yet, like at all by the city.
Talk about stress.
Yeah, Kate was like, we were sweating. Right, yes. And so anyway, we're like, this is our goal, we gotta meet it. And the guy...
All right, everybody, welcome to Talk is Cheap, the Fight Against Mediocrity podcast. Very, very excited today. We have Jeremy and Kait Carlson. Jeremy started crispy cones when he was a freshman at BYU, Idaho. He went to school in the day and built his business at night. His now wife, Kate, who was his employee, started as his employee, now joins him in growing the business. They started out as a tent and then slowly grew to a trailer. Well, actually, just found out that they started in his aunt's house, tent, trailer, and now have multiple storefronts. They always say that hard work, believing in yourself, and finding love along the way are all part of the entrepreneurship journey. Although I don't know if I'd recommend to everybody to date your employees if you have a strict HR policy. And Jeremy and Kate are strong believers in God. They believe that God helped them build the business every step of the way and continues to do so. So very excited to have you both on here. Thank you so much for joining us.
You bet. We're excited to be on here.
We're happy to be here.
Awesome. Okay, well, let's get started. Tell us about your business, how you got started, and where it's at right now. And of course, add into the story how you both met. Add in that as well.
For sure.
Okay. So I started this business when I was a freshman at BYU, Idaho, in Rexburg, Idaho. I basically had a vision to bring a product, bring something new there to Rexburg. The idea originated from my mission in the Czech Republic. Anyway, I did have a vision to bring a new product to Rexburg. And so when I was living there, I was going to school full time. I think I was taking about 15 to 16 credits. I can't remember. And I would go to school in the day, and I basically went to my aunt's house in St. Anthony, Idaho, and taught myself how to make this product. Now, if you know what a crispy cone is, or if you don't, it's basically a cinnamon sugar cone. We make this fresh dough, we roll it out, we grill it, and then we put cinnamon sugar on the outside, put on the inside a spread of Nutella or cookie butter, and then we fill it with soft serve ice cream. And it took me countless hours to perfect the recipe, to figure out how to do it, to make it. And so I would basically, like I said, go to school in the day, and then at night, go to my aunt's house and perfect the recipe and the product itself. And that took probably around 3 or 4 months until I basically said to myself, well, let's just open it up. I had no money at all. So we bought a tent off Amazon for like $200. And we opened up on the side of the road in Rexburg. We leased a spot from a landowner who was selling his lot. And I had 2 employees at the time. I told my 2 employees, I said, look, this might be a bluff, 2-week kind of thing. Just wing it with me. And they're like, oh, this is fun. We're willing to help you out. I contacted the local news. I talked it up. They came out, interviewed us. They were probably surprised when they showed up that it was just a tent, because we had kind of talked it up quite a bit. And then our opening day was May 4th, 2018. Yep, yeah. 2018. And hundreds of people showed up. And I'm not kidding, hundreds of people showed up. We had over-marketed the product and worked with the news too closely, I think. So the wait time was 2 hours for a crispy cone. Some people might be complaining about the wait time here in Logan, but 2 hours was what our wait time was there.
Oh my gosh.
And so we weren't prepared for it. We didn't even know how to really do it. I hadn't even trained my employees because I didn't think that was going to happen. And we just started selling product. We just started selling, right? And it was bad product. It wasn't that great of product. We didn't really even know what we were doing. We were just selling hot fruit cones. We didn't even have money for an ice cream machine yet. So we were just selling the cones right off the grill in a cup with Nutella spread and sending it off with people. And that was it. And so anyway, that year, I kind of felt an impression that the recipe wasn't finalized, that it wasn't the best. So we actually ended that year. It was a seasonal business, right? We ended early. I flew back to the Czech Republic perfected the recipe, flew back to the United States, and we opened up in a food trailer. And so I designed this food trailer foreign. They shipped it in for a third of the price that could be done here in the United States. And I had a little bit of money. We invested in a soft serve ice cream machine. No idea how to run a soft serve ice cream machine, just used YouTube, very high maintenance machine. And we started selling the cones again, but with a better recipe, better product, ice cream. And we quadrupled our sales that year from the year previous. So that's how we kind of started, was a kitchen, not knowing anything, to a tent, to a trailer. And now we are in a storefront here in Logan. We'll be in a storefront in Rexburg, and we plan on opening up more stores in the future. So
I love it.
Rock on. That's how you do it, basically, is you just start it and grow it and just kind of just begin. And we got tons of bad reviews, right? Like our opening night in Rexburg, Idaho, I think we got like 15 1-stars for wait time. The product sucked, all this stuff. And I was devastated. I was like crying in my bathroom, and I was like, oh, this sucks. Like we didn't do it. But the point of the matter is, as many people didn't believe in us, and there were a lot during that time saying, don't open a store in Rexburg, it's going to go out, don't open it. We just kept pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. And I felt alone so much. And I felt like I couldn't do it. But honestly, great things came from it, such as my wife, which she can kind of share how we met. And we've grown this business now to multiple locations. We have a waiting list of people who are wanting to buy in. And I'm still in college. We still don't know what we're doing really, but we're growing it, and it's working. So yeah. Do you want to share how we met, Kate?
Yeah, if you're ready for that part of the podcast.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, no, let's do it. I have a few questions, but I really want to hear how you both met. And I want to hear your side of the story, because Jeremy may have embellished it a little bit before the podcast started.
Okay, so that first year that Crispy Cones opened in the tent, so it was May 2018, and I was off track at BYU, Idaho, living in Star Valley at my parents' house, and I get this DM from Crispy Cones. It was actually Jeremy behind the Instagram, but he just asked if I would come out and get a free dessert if I posted on my Instagram for it. And at that time, I was just all about like just helping people, posting on Instagram, whatever. So I didn't mind traveling. It's a 2-hour drive from Star Valley to Rexburg. And so I was just all about it. I was like, yeah, I'm totally going to go get a free dessert and post about this. So me and my mom hopped in the car and drove to Rexburg, and we got there and saw that it was just a little tent, and Jeremy was working behind it, talked to us, gave us a free cone, and it was just a good time. And then after that, didn't really think much of it. We just like kind of stayed in touch on social media a little bit. Just
I was dating other girls.
Yeah, like it just wasn't anything like no immediate love at first sight, anything like that. So then the following year came back out with my friend, and when they had the trailer, and just fell in love with it again. I was like, this is the best product ever. And I like told my friend, I was like, I am going to support this business till the day I die. Like, I love this. And so we like did a little photo shoot just by the trailer with our cones and stuff. And so I posted it again, and Jeremy saw it and reached out and was like, your content is so good. Can you, would you be interested in being our social media marketer? And I honestly didn't even think about like being paid at all. So I was like, yeah, like totally. But like, can I get a discount on cones? And he was like, yeah, you can have free cones forever. And so
she was like, legit, let's go.
Sweet, free ice cream all summer. I'm all about that. So I agreed, and just started going right into it, and kind of just redesigned the brand and the feed and everything.
We have a phrase within our business: revolutionizing the soft serve cone, changing the way we eat soft serve cone. And she basically revolutionized our brand. She changed everything on our Instagram. What you see now on our Instagram was not at all it. And so she basically helped us. I want to say she helped us quadruple our sales from that year when she came on board for free. And so when I hear people say like, oh, like, how much do you pay if I'll work for you? How much do you pay if I'll do this? I'm just kind of like, the experience is so much more important and greater than the pay, because she did it for free. I mean, and now she's co-owner. She's married to me, but she was able to work up, and then we ended up paying her. And yeah, you can keep going, but I just kind of wanted to.
No,
Probably
totally.
not the way most people become co-owners of business.
I know.
Not
The worst for
yeah. It's pretty rare, but just taking that experience and running with it is so important.
I love it.
But anyway, yeah. So that summer that I first was like the official social media marketer, we just got to know each other really well and would have FaceTime meetings and marketing meetings and all these things of just figuring out, brainstorming what to do with the page and just throwing ideas out at each other.
They always ended up being like 3 to 4 hours, and then we were talking about other stuff, and then it was like,
we would just like, it would be business for like 15 minutes, and then the rest of the 3 hours we'd talk just about life and laugh our heads off with each other, and it was just so fun, and we became literal best friends. And then it was kind of just the friend thing for a while, and he was dating someone seriously at the time and would tell me all about it, and I kind of like deep down kind of had a crush on him, but like we are just friends, so it wasn't whatever. Like, he was my boss, couldn't really do anything. But yeah, he would tell me about this girl that he was seriously dating and that he was gonna marry her and all this stuff that I just kind of cringe. Yeah. Whatever. And eventually he broke up with that girl, and the timing in both of our lives just aligned of where we just decided to try it out and just going on dates and stuff. And
it was a risky business crossing that line, because if that didn't work out, you know, the business relationships risky.
And we were both worried about that, of like, okay, we have this business relationship, we have this friendship, and if we add this relationship portion onto our business, like, this is a huge risk that we're going to take. But we both felt super good about it, and just went forward and started dating, and it all just fell into place, and there wasn't anything, nothing went wrong with the business. It all just grew even more, and our relationship grew, and then we ended up getting married in December. So that was how we met.
That's the love story.
Moral of the story: start a business, get married.
Yes, highly recommend.
Dude, I love everything about your story, how you guys met, the grit, the grind, the hustle, the scrappiness, just starting. Like, everything about that is like business 101. That's the crap they do not teach in college. Like, they never tell you, hey, just freaking go to your aunt's house and start working on the recipe. Like,
I know in finance class, they'll teach you how to run a multi-million-dollar company with numbers, but they'll never tell you how that multi-million-dollar company got there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we just think it just appears, and these massive businesses, Disney, Apple, all these companies grew, but they started literally from an idea, one ride at a time, an animation at a time, and now it's 2 parks, and so.
And something that I love that you said that I believe most entrepreneurs have and go through, and I'm sure both of you can relate to this, because Kait, and I'm pronouncing it right, Kait, right?
Yeah.
Kait didn't mention this, but she, since 2016, has owned a photography business. So she's been doing this and running her own business as well, which made her so valuable to crispy cones. Like, she developed a skill and became valuable to others, which is another key lesson. But something that you mentioned that I think is really important is, and you mentioned it once for one part, but I bet it relates to a lot of how you started your business. You said, I had an impression that the recipe wasn't final. Tell us about that, and tell us about the impressions or like deep down desires you had to start this business, because you have to have it in order not to quit.
Yeah, totally. I think one thing Kait and I will always admit to, and we're not afraid to say it, is God has always been a big part of our life. And it doesn't have to be God for you guys, but it can be anything, supernatural power, anything, right? But we have always been very, very close to God in relations to the business and how we should grow it and what next step we should take. And so when I was working the business, and something was just off. Something just was not right. I just had a feeling, and I just had this light bulb, and I ran with it. I didn't question it. I didn't think, oh, maybe we should just keep going. I just said, what, like it, the only thing that could come out of me flying all the way back to the Czech Republic would be a good thing, right? Like perfecting something, making my product better. And so that's what I did. And I didn't even think about it. And I flew back there, and then I came back. But everything that we've done to build the business I want to open it up in a trailer, but I have this issue with food trailers because I don't know how they're being cooked in there. And so I had the impression of, okay, how can we make a transparent food trailer? And we could send you pictures later, but I designed this food trailer in Asia where it has all glass in the front, right? So it's completely transparent. People see how their product's being made. People see the cleanliness. It's complete transparency. And so we designed that, and then it set us apart even more, and I had that feeling, but we ran with it. And now that trailer there is iconic, and it's like this retro vibe, and people love it. And the same thing, we had this feeling when we got married, like the next step is not trailers for us anymore, it's stores, and it's opening up more stores in different cities. And so we took the biggest risk of our lives, and we signed a lease and negotiated a lease, which was really hard. And we acted like big dogs, and we're just these amateur college students, and we got approved, and we got in, and then we opened up a store. And then we felt like, okay, we have to design this so that it's transparent, right? And we just had these constant feelings of what we should do next. And we didn't question it. We just went with it. And so we made a transparent store and kitchen, so everyone sees the product being made. They see the cleanliness of the store. And we didn't know how to build out a store at all. We're just in our 20s, and we didn't know how to work with Logan City. We didn't know how to work with architects, contractors, anything, but we built it out in 41 days, and it was a miracle. And it's not a perfect store at all. We still kind of call it ghetto, but it works, and it's beautiful in our eyes still. And yeah, so we just had a feeling, and we just kept going with it. I literally cringe when people say, I'm just waiting till I can blank, right? Like, I don't care. We sold a bad product for a whole year. Like, we sold up in a tent. Like, if someone's waiting to get into a storefront, why not start in a kitchen? Why not start in a tent? Why not start selling it outside the USU football games? Like, until someone says, hey, you're not supposed to do that, right? Like, just do it and just see what's happening. And then you'll learn from there. You don't need $1 million, hundreds of thousands of dollars. We bought a $250 tent off Amazon, Yeah. So, yeah.
I think the biggest lesson is just start. Like, everyone makes up so many excuses of why they can't start, why they can't do it. We're master excuse makers. There's a million reasons not to do something, but you only need one reason to do it. I love that so much. I'm just more curious than anything. Tell us about you keep mentioning, like, we didn't know how to do it. We Googled it, we YouTubed it. We didn't know how to do it. We figured it out. Like, we didn't know how to do it. And so for anyone listening, if you don't know how to do it, that's not an excuse. Like, we're learning from Jeremy and Kait, like, that's not an excuse. But how did you figure out how to build your storefront out, and how did you do it so fast?
So here it goes back again to like our relationship with God and how the plan will always work. Because my first roommate at BYU Idaho, his name was Benjamin Kenning, and he was studying construction management there at BYUI. And he was there when I very first started. In fact, he was one of my very first employees, making dough in the mornings and whatever. Well, we became buddies. I ended up transferring to the Huntsman School here at Utah State, because I just felt like, no offense to BYUI, but I just felt like I wasn't being pushed enough with their business program. And I had a lot of experience within the program where I just didn't feel like they believed in me. Total opposite at the Huntsman School. They will push you till you cry, I feel like. But anyway, I moved up here. He also followed me and transferred to the Huntsman School later, and he's living here in Logan. Well, he works as a construction manager here for Wasatch. And so when I told him that I was coming into a store here, he said, well, hey, let me be your kind of guy to lead this. So he worked with a general contractor, Edgar, Laura and Sons Contracting, and he basically convinced Laura and Sons that he would run the whole thing under their name and license, with Edgar, the owner of Laura and Sons, to kind of oversee it, right? But he would run it all. And so me and him, he's a college student too, me, him, and Kait met up multiple times together and said, hey, this is what we want. This is how we're going to do it. Can you execute it? And he basically did it for nothing. He's like, I'll just help you guys out for the experience. And so we owe freaking Ben so much because he just helped us out so much. But he convinced contractors to come out. He overlapped contractors there. So there were like the painter was upset because there was other people there while he was painting, but the painter, the electrician, the plumbers were all there literally at the same time using 2 scissor lifts, right? And so our goal was to get this done in 90 days. That was our goal. He was able to get it done in 45 days.
Oh my God.
And so he basically pushed people. They were yelling at him. They would mess up. He'd make them fix it. But he basically helped us get it built out in that time period. And we did it. And honestly, okay, if anyone really knew what we had to go through, like tons of tears. We spent late nights. We were there till like 4 a.m. building out with Ben. Literally on the day. So we announced on Monday, that last week in August, we announced Monday we were opening up that Friday for Logan's store, right? Our Logan store, Kevin, was not at all ready for an opening. It wasn't. But we had this goal of we're going to open August 20th. Like Kait kept saying, we have to stick with the goal. And I was like, what if we just push it? And she's like, no, we're sticking with the goal. So like, find a strong woman, I guess. Anyway, we posted on Monday, we're opening up that Friday. Wednesday, we had our final inspection by the city of Logan to see if everything was going to be per code, fire, everything. We failed that inspection because our mirror in the bathroom wasn't long enough for handicap. We failed our inspection we didn't have on the door a certain phrase that says this door has to be unlocked when building is occupied. And the fire and sprinkler system didn't pass, right? And so anyway, they're like, well, you guys can fix it. We'll come back next week. And we're like, no, you guys have to come back again like this week. We'll fix it. We'll get the people in here. We'll fix it. We can get a new mirror. I mean, we'll fix it. Anyways, they left and we were like devastated. We're like, oh my gosh, like what are we gonna do? We have to get them out here to pass inspection. And they came, Ben called the city and convinced them to send out a guy. And they said, okay, we'll come out Friday at 10:30. Okay. Their final inspection guy came at 10:30. I already had employees there working at 10 to prepare for opening at 12.
Oh my gosh.
I know. And we were like rolling with it. We had announced it. We had hyped it up. We're like, hey guys, come, we're opening. And we were not approved to open yet, like at all by the city.
Talk about stress.
Yeah. Kait was like, we were sweating. Right. Yes. And so anyway, we're like, this is our goal. We got to meet it. And the guy came at 10:30 and did his final inspection. And of course he was like, I mean, inspectors just have this attitude, but they're like, well, I guess that'll work. Right. And so he's like, so when are you guys opening again? And he's like, we're opening in an hour. And he's like, this is the closest call I've ever seen. Because he had just called the front desk lady at the city and said, yep, they're approved. They're good to go. And that was our last checklist, right? That final thing. So he left and we just scrambled. We just got our employees up and going. We started making product and we opened up that day and it worked well.
Yeah. And throughout like the whole building process of everything, like you said, like we didn't know what we were doing at all. But Ben was like our lifesaver.
Ben didn't know what he was doing either, but he just figured it out.
Yeah. But we all like throughout the whole process, this whole year, really, we've just like always talked to each other like what other married couple like during their first year of marriage is doing what we're doing? Like this is insane. Like most people would like be divorced by now. Or like, I don't know.
It was really straining on our marriage.
Yeah, it was so hard because so many late nights, so many just like back and forth disagreements on, no, I wanted to have it this way. I want to have it this way. It was really, really hard. And we really learned how to work together and delegate responsibilities and just kind of just narrow down priorities of what's most important at this moment. What do we need to get done in the store at this moment? And
our house was a mess. We had inventory everywhere
because we had to ship everything. Like
it was a mess.
Yeah, so that we weren't behind. If we wanted to stay on schedule, we just had to order everything, and the store wasn't ready to put stuff in it yet. So we just had to store everything in our apartment, our tiny little 800 something square foot apartment. So our living room, I kid you not, was like barricaded. We had to have a tiny little path to get to our bedroom. Like hoarders. It was a mess.
It's so bad.
Our guest bedroom up to the ceiling almost with boxes and insanity. Yeah. So we knew we'd get through it eventually. Like we knew we had this date and we had our opening date. And we're like, hey, we're not going to be living like this forever. Like we will make it through this. But when you're in the fire and everything, it's hard to see the light. But we pushed through and we delegated and we found people on our team to help us do it. And we accomplished our goal.
Dude, oh my gosh. I'm like on the edge of my seat, like just from hearing the story. And I know it's open. That's so cool.
Yep.
Man. So one of the things that everything you've said has been amazing. And one of the things that you both said is that, you know, it's pushed us so much. It's pushed us to the edge of our limits. And that's one of the things that I love about entrepreneurship and sales and starting a business is you can never just be like, oh, I get to work at 9, I leave at 5, I'll worry about the rest tomorrow. Like it pushes you more than anything else will push you in your life and make you like sweat and do things that you would never do before. I love how scrappy you both are in the sense that like, hey, we have to figure this out. Who can help us? And I love that he did it for the experience because that's going to benefit him. Like how many college students can say, oh yeah, I helped build out a commercial space and when I was in college, like that's amazing.
Yeah.
So Kate, one of the things that I've been super impressed with as I've looked at crispy cones and everything is the branding. And so tell us, you know, how for the business owners listening, what are some of the keys to creating such great branding and sharing your message?
Yeah. I think the main like one word statement that comes to my brain is consistency with colors, fonts, style, everything. That was super important to me. And so the logo and everything was designed by a friend of Jeremy's when he first started it, Adam Harper, and he did a great job on our logo and everything. And so I just wanted to incorporate that with the brand and our Instagram and our whole entire vibe of everything. And so I just really wanted to narrow it down to find our target audience. And being a public relations major, when was it? It was like 2019 we met together and I made this whole PR plan.
We stayed up to like 2 a.m.
Stayed up and like broke down every single thing from our budget to our target audience to our key goals, key objectives, everything. And we used that throughout our entire marketing plan of everything of just what is our main goal? How are we going to reach those goals? All those things. And then came down to just designing our feed and how we wanted that to look because we felt like having an aesthetic and professional looking feed really helped the credibility of our brand and make it stand out amongst other businesses within our industry and without, or just in general. So that's like our main thing that we put a lot of time and effort towards is our marketing. And because we know that if we don't market, then we don't see success and we don't see sales. So we really, really stress our marketing, and I work so many hours trying to get content and doing it all. And I'm still just doing it on my own, but I am looking to hire an assistant and grow my marketing team here soon. So
she would spend, I mean, this is a perspective from outside, but she, without any like complaint, she would be creating content at the business till like 3 a.m. and then take that content because that same day we had to post a new video for specialty flavor. And she's like full-time student. She would take that, go home and make this professional video, the videos you see on our Instagram, in an hour and a half until 4:30. And then she'd go to bed at 4:30 a.m., wake up at 9 for class, the next day, and then post at 12 the video she made at 4:30 a.m. And that's like,
And
and it didn't stop there. It seemed
and
like
the
we were
cycle
so busy.
of doing school, and then I'd shoot weddings, I'd have to edit all this stuff. All like this whole time frame of like that busy schedule was all while we were like trying to date as well. So like trying to date someone plus like staying up till 4:30 editing videos, then waking up, going to class, going to another class, doing homework, then shooting a wedding, editing. Like I don't know how I did it, honestly.
And
It was
even
insane.
now we'll be so busy,
Yeah.
and she'll be figuring things out and editing, and she'll make me stay up with her, but somehow I just like fall asleep at 2 and I'm just out, but she'll stay up till 4 and finish it, and then the next morning I'll be like, is it done? And she'll be like, yeah, it's done, I'll post it. And so literally we just don't know what we're doing, but we just do it, and we just work our butts off.
And really, we kind of just fake it till we make it. Like we just like have this goal, and we just put on this like face of like, we are going to be professional, we are going to be consistent, and we are going to like make this product stand out. And so we just we just put a lot of time and effort into our marketing, because we have seen so much success just from that first year of when I hopped on board and just changed everything. Like it just shifted entirely, and we kind of
quadrupled our sales.
And finding a way to like just reach, because we have kind of a couple different target audiences, like college age students, kind of that kind of vibe,
married moms,
kind of younger people, but then even like families with moms and kids, and they love coming and stuff too. But just finding a way to reach that with like a trendy kind of way was just something that was important to us, that we wanted to be on trend, in style, and just stand out. So yeah.
And did that just come naturally to you, or do you think it was because you had so much experience in photography and, you know, that whole thing, that skill played a lot into it as well? Or
yeah, I definitely think my background in photography and videography helped a ton. I was all self-taught with photography and videography.
YouTube.
If I wanted to learn something, I would just YouTube it. But I didn't, like in high school, I didn't take any classes. I took maybe like, I think I took a couple video classes in college, but it wasn't anything crazy that I didn't already know, really. So yeah, like we wanted to make videos a good priority in our thing. And I just used my background in video editing and photo editing and everything to just make everything consistent, and just, so I definitely feel like my background in those skills helped project us.
I love the fact that, you know, you took the time to build that skill, and look how beneficial it's been to you. Like learning skills when you're young, beneficial skills that can help you progress. Man, time has flown by. You guys are so impressive. What would you say is, both of you, I'd love to hear from both of you, what would you say is the most important attribute or characteristic that an entrepreneur can have?
So like I said, like you kind of said at the very, very beginning, we're all about like finding love along the way. Now that means so many different things. Obviously for us, we fell in love, but we have to learn to love the hard times and the lonely times, and embrace those times, and learn to love the product when you end up hating it because you've been working 90 hours in 1 week. And then the next week you'll start to love it again, you know, and not burn out, and love the fact of training and meeting new employees, and loving the fact of embracing and bringing families together and dates together. And like we know people who are married who have contacted us and said our first date was at crispy cones, like we fell in love over a crispy cone. Like what I mean by that, finding love along the way, is the entrepreneurship journey is so hard, and it can suck so much, and you can hate it so much, and you can feel so lonely so much. But finding love along the way is embracing it and loving the journey and working your butt off, and finding those little things of, how can I be happy in this moment? How can I take a moment and relax for 10 minutes and love myself and not kill my mental health? How can I love my employees? How can I love my business? And we learned how can we love each other more as this was hard, because building out a store was very, 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 very hard. And so we had to find time for each other. And then on top of that, how can we love God more and not forget about him, you know? So finding love along the way is just as probably more important than anything else along the entrepreneurship journey, just to survive and not burn out and die.
I would also say another key word for entrepreneurs would just be humility, because like always just stay humble, and you
because if not, you'll get humbled really fast.
Right. And like you can totally be excited about your idea and like just the growth that you're seeing and stuff, but you have to stay humble and keep your head on your shoulders, because we both know that it's not us, it's God that made this happen. And just staying humble and just realizing that we're taking this one step at a time, one a day at a time, and we're just finding love along the journey and just staying humble through it all.
I love everything you both said. I would argue is more valuable than a college education. Like the experience behind what you just said and the emotion behind it, like enjoy the journey. Like if you're just waiting for, hey, the soonest I can exit at $100 million, I'm going to be happy. Like, you're going to look back and you're going to be like, well, that was lame. Like being happy and loving the journey, and being humble. I mean, I've asked a lot of entrepreneurs, like, what's the key trait? And nobody said humble. So I really like that you said that, because it is so key to remain humble and grateful the whole time.
We've been humbled quite a bit. So I don't know if we've always been humble, but
sometimes it's easy to like kind of get in our heads of like, oh yeah, we're doing this, and then
big
like
shots.
slap on the face. Okay, here's your little taste of humble pie. You know?
Barely opening up your store an hour before.
Yeah. I love it. I mean, those are the things that are going to make your story so fun to share. If my wife owns an online clothing boutique, and I always tell her, like, when crap hits the fan, I'm like, that's what's going to make your story so fun to hear. Because if it were easy, everyone would do it, and it'd be like, oh yeah, they went, did it, and it worked out. So I love that so much. I also very much love about what you've both said is your goal of revolutionizing the soft serve cone. And this will be my second to last question, because we're running up on time. But tell me how you came up with that, because I really like the idea of having an adversary in your business that's like, we're going to destroy this. Like mine is the fight against mediocrity. So I really like the idea of revolutionizing the soft serve cone. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So if you look at statistically, soft serve is less popular than custard or scooped ice cream or box ice cream and such. But we loved the idea of fresh ice cream coming right out of the machine, just being churned, airy, and is soft serve, right? That's what soft serve is. And so there's a less popularity with soft serve nationally. That's just a statistically proven fact.
You kind of think soft serve and you think like a McDonald's
ice cream cone, right? Well, our idea was this product, and as we kept growing it, we're like, without even realizing this, we're revolutionizing how people eat soft serve. We're revolutionizing the soft serve cone. And I think we actually had this conversation and we said this. We're like, we're revolutionizing the soft serve cone. And then we're like, well, that made sense. Like that kind of caught.
Like,
and
that's
so
a nice phrase.
And so we're like contacting our attorneys and we're like, hey, we want to trademark this. And they're like, oh, let's do some research. No other business had this phrase. And so it's being patent pending now, but basically it's changed our whole mission as a company of revolutionizing. You walk into our store and the very first word you see that's in bold on top is revolutionizing. And whether that's revolutionizing how we train our employees, revolutionizing our product control, our wait time, we're revolutionizing the business every single day. We're changing, we're always being better. But the main phrase is revolutionizing the soft serve cone. That's what the guest sees, right? So when they see it, they're like, wow, this is like a new way. This has changed and it's been working that way. And so the word revolutionizing has always become part of our mission of changing, becoming better, staying humble, if someone has a bad product one day, we're going to send them a $15 gift card the next, like we're revolutionizing how we treat people, guest service, and experience. So, yeah.
I love it. That's amazing. And then I was going to ask a follow-up question to that, but now I can't remember.
No, you're good.
No, I love that so much. I love that you've taken that and ran with it and really brought to light. Oh, that's what I was going to ask. Is this an idea? So you served a mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. For those of you who don't know, that's sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ for 2 years in a different part of the country or world. And this is something that they make over there and you brought it back. Is that what it is?
It's similar to what they make over there. Correct. Yeah. When I was at my aunt's house, I was critiquing quite a bit of what they do in the Czech Republic, and not in a bad way, but I was just kind of like Americanizing it. Like, this is what I like and this is what I don't like. Right.
Okay.
2 different countries. Right. So I kind of took the idea and ran with it from there, but I revolutionized it. I Americanized it, right? Like we have different spreads we put on the inside. They don't necessarily do that there. We have gourmet soft serve, 14% butterfat content. We partnered with the local dairy in Idaho. That's another way of revolutionizing. The national soft serve average for butterfat content is 4%, and we upped it to 14%. So it's much more gourmet. And we sell hot fruit cones where we take them right off the grill. We put a spread on the inside filled with fresh fruits and whipped cream. They don't do that at all there. That's just not their product at all. But we sell thousands of dollars of it, right? And so we Americanized it, we revolutionized it, and we just kind of changed some things. And that's how we got to where we're at.
I love it. Took what you knew and made it way better. So for people who want to follow you or go to your store or get to know you more, what's the best way for them to do that?
I'd say just follow along on our Instagram. That's where we're posting most updates, and just everything that's happening is on the gram. So yeah, our Instagram handle is @crispycones_, and we'd love to have you follow along.
And you have stores in Logan and Rexburg?
Rexburg. Yep.
Okay. Awesome. Very cool.
Coming to a city near you.
Coming to a city near you. Actually, that is one of the questions I wanted to ask. I was going to last question, but what are your long-term goals? Where do you see Crispy Cones in 5 or 10 years?
You want to answer that?
Basically, we just see growth of stores, just lots of new cities, and just expanding and growing in all departments and stuff. And yeah, that's basically it. Just more growth. Growing. Just keep scaling and growing.
I feel like if you're trying to really, really push your business, it's just not feeling right, then something's off, right? But if you're really pushing your business and things are falling into place, like a store is opening up and the place to open a store, and then this is falling, and then Ben lives here to help us build up. Like, we are pushing really hard, but things are going into place. So we want to open up more stores, and those opportunities are just kind of going into place. We're not having to really force anything. It's just kind of happening.
So we'll just grow as things fall in place. And
if
things don't fall in place, then
we'll reevaluate. Revolutionize. Yep.
I think it kind of goes back to, you put in the hard work at the beginning to make such a good product that it grows itself almost. So
yeah,
I love that. Okay. Last question. It's my favorite question because I'm very biased, but what does the fight against mediocrity mean to you?
You answer that.
Fight against mediocrity. It means pushing through the loneliness, finding a way to work hard. I'm sorry if I offend anybody, but if you're playing video games all day, there's a serious issue there. If you're wasting so much time doing nothing really important that's improving yourself and your work ethic and your future, you probably should reevaluate. And there's no room for laziness in the fight of mediocrity. It's just, you cannot be lazy in life, whatever you're doing. If you want to be a dance professional, a teacher, a firefighter, you just cannot be lazy, because you'll be left behind. And we live in the great nation of America, where an immigrant can start a business and turn it into a multi-million-dollar company, like Salsa Queen, for example, if you don't know. And she was completely an immigrant and had like no background and knew nothing. And she built a multi-million-dollar company. But then there's Americans who are born into America with all of the different privileges that they have. They have citizenship, they have all these different things, and they're at home wasting their time and wasting their opportunities, and they're being left behind, right? So there's no room for laziness in the fight of mediocrity.
And there's just no growth in your comfort zone. Like, if you want to just stay where you're comfortable and do your normal routine, whatever, and then you're just gonna stay in mediocrity.
Then you're gonna get
like, you're
depressed because you're gonna be comparing yourself with these people who are making things happen, but then you're not looking at yourself like, well, I'm not doing anything, you know?
Right. So if you just fight against that, like the phrase says, then you'll find growth outside of your comfort zone, and you'll just see so much more success within yourself and within your goals, I feel like.
Yeah. I love that. And if I had to sum up everything that you have both said and say, for Kait and Jeremy, the fight against mediocrity is, I would say, just get started. Like, just get started. Walk out the front door and just
walk out the front door.
So
yeah.
You guys are awesome. This has been amazing. If you're in an area where you're close to a crispy cone, please go visit them. If you're within a 10-hour drive, it's worth the drive. You should go visit them. Otherwise, you can fly and go visit them. Logan and Rexburg, but coming to a city near you. Thank you so much for being on the Talk is Cheap, the Fight Against Mediocrity podcast. We will see you all on the next show.